Good morning, Mr. Woodhead.
How are you doing,
Mr. Slauson?
my dog?
I have not seen you for a while. And you know, what has been the reason we have not come together? It's not because we're playing on the LIV tour.
No, we would love to play on the live.
We're going to get to that.
Right.
But I would love to, Danny's been a little bit involved. I mean, I don't know if you can dodge the news by any means, but our boy right here, the world loves him, especially the world of golf and the New England Patriots, like Bill Belichick. Like, get out of here,
guys.
So we got to talk. We got to catch up. So this is the first time I've had a conversation with Danny since he's been back from
sectionals, that final stage.
Yep.
Man,
welcome to the Out of Nowhere podcast.
Yes. Man, it was crazy. It was an experience that I would put up there with about almost anything athletically. Didn't have my best stuff. I actually was very close. Weirdly, if you look at the scores, you'd be like, yeah, right. But I had I really had 4 holes that I messed up on. Other than that, I played pretty solid.
Yeah, I was going to say, like, you played awesome.
I was 9 over from the 4 holes. Yeah.
Yeah.
And
really, that's what I do on the regular, but you don't.
But on the other 32, on the other 32 holes, there were some putts I missed still, some shots I missed. And I still played those 32 1 over. Everyone, I'm sure, is going to be like, oh, he had no chance. And that's fair. I mean, I was a professional football player, so people are going to think that. I will say this, after playing, and I don't want to minimize professional golf, but like on any given day, right? I wasn't that far off. Like, if I would have had a really good day, it would have taken a really good day. I could have qualified, like, without a doubt. But I didn't have a really good day. I had a meh day and then four bad holes. But that's okay. I mean, it was my first experience at a level like that, which is crazy.
Mm-hmm.
But I've never been so like, holy crap, I'm not, like, I didn't feel out of place there. That's what's weird. Now, the consistency, that's what those pro golfers do. They all hit it good, but they're consistent. They're not going to have those bad holes. Well, there are a few guys that definitely had those bad holes because Springfield was another animal golf-wise. Like, just, that's partially why I had those 4 holes. But like, professional golf, they're consistently awesome. Whereas, like, I feel like I can be awesome on a given day, right? You know what I'm saying? And now, if I were to play in the US Open, I'm guessing that would be a different story, because to be awesome for 4 straight rounds is usually, for the amateur world, isn't going to happen a lot.
Mm-hmm.
But as far as like qualifying, I just wasn't as far off as maybe even I would have thought going in. I knew I could qualify if I shot some scores, but then I got there and I was like, huh. And I loved Springfield. Don't know if that was the perfect course for me. As far as like, yes, my putting in short game a strength, but something I realized, I think, even more that can sometimes separate me from people is my distance.
Yeah, I personally thought you were nuts for selecting that course.
Well, I went off of like some buddies and knowing that I have good hands, and you know what I'm saying? But it was more so like, oh, I have 70 yards in, those guys have 100 yards in. And it's like, it's still a wedge. Now, if it was now where it's at a long course, if I have 140 and they have 180 in, like, that's a difference. Club wise, because I'm hitting pitching wedge and they're hitting what, 7 iron, 6 iron, 7 iron, depending on, like,
were
if
you
you're not
that
long,
much farther than
not that
a lot of guys?
I had a lot of, well, when I went after it, most of the tournament, I kind of went around hitting a bunt driver, not a bunt driver, but something to keep it in play. Whereas on the last on the last 18 holes, I just, after like a few holes, I said, or after the first hole, I was like, you know what? Why am I not? I tripled 10. I didn't stretch, didn't do anything, got caught in the trees and was dead. And I was like, what am I doing? I was like, just start hitting the ball. And on the next hole, I drove a 380-yard par 4. And that's when things got started. I was like, now, there was a little breeze. It was probably like, I don't know, 8 to 10 miles an hour. But like, I hit it and I was like, oh no. And Troy Merritt's on the green. He's a PGA guy and someone else. And I'm like, and it rolls up past them pin high. And I'm like, oh no, oh no, oh no, oh no. I just showed up to a tournament. Now I'm going to be a moron because I just hit into someone. But like, if I'm playing a 380-yard par 4, I'm never thinking I'm getting there, right, Slaw? Ever.
Yeah, it's an unreasonable expectation.
So I hit it, and after I hit it, I was like, oh my gosh, I killed it. But I still was like, oh, maybe it'll run up, a little short. Like maybe I hit it 350, 360, right? It goes 380 on the dot. It's like in the middle, maybe 381 or 82, because it might have been +1 or +2 from the middle. And I was like, oh my gosh. And I'm like talking to the guys in my group. I go, what do I say? I don't say anything. You drove a 380-yard par 4. But still, because like it was awkward, I walk up and I'm like, sorry guys, I didn't really expect it. And they just laughed. They were cool. It's like, yeah, we're not mad. You drove a 380-yard par 4. So that's when I just started playing. Like I play with you, bro. And I started just reeling off birdies like crazy. It was nuts. And I was hitting the ball so freaking far. Like I it was crazy. Absolutely crazy. And then there's a par 5 I kill it on. And then I was like 260 and I was in trees because I hit it through the fairway on a par 5, a downhill par 5. I hit a 5-iron cut out of the rough and it goes to pin high. And I'm just like, what's going on? But it was just like, I was like, I don't really care. I'm going to try to just play golf, hit the ball as hard as I can. And I should have been doing that the whole time though. Like that's the thing that was a little frustrating is I had like a lull in there where it was almost like I was playing defensive instead of like, just go play golf. Like you're a good enough golfer and you pick this place because of your short game. Like who cares? Like just go hit it in spots that you think and go find it and then try to birdie your par. And I think that's when the light came on, was on the second 18. I was like, what was I doing on that first 18? I still played all right besides a couple holes, but like, it was just like, you're actually not bad. Just be aggressive and actually just have confidence that like you kind of belong.
For the next year, when this rolls around, would you select this course again, or would you do something a little more?
I'd probably do Columbus. That's in Ohio too. I want to pick something that's similar to Omaha though, as far as grass, like bent grass. I don't love Bermuda, so I don't really want to go putt on Bermuda because I think it sucks and I hate it. I'm fine with POA, but I'd like to do Columbus because there's more spots there because there's more PGA guys. But it's also like a course. I have a buddy that played there. He goes, yeah, that'd be a better course for you because Springfield doesn't, because he's long also. He goes, Springfield doesn't play to our advantage. Whereas other courses say like, if you have a 480-yard par 4, like that's not a big deal. If I hit it 315, like I have a 9-iron in, whereas other people have a 5-iron maybe. You know what I'm saying? So like, or a 6-iron. 6-iron and 9-iron is completely different.
Percentages are way different from
Yeah.
hitting
So
close to the pin.
So it's like, I probably should have done that. I don't think it was I would still put that as probably my number 2 because I know the course now. You know what I'm saying? And I know I could shoot scores. Now, I don't know. That's kind of where I'm at with it all. Like, and I'd made maybe a few holes. I'd played a few different, like you don't need to be as close. So maybe I wouldn't hit driver or something. And yeah, so like it was an amazing experience. It was fun. My little brother was on the bag. My 2 business partners went with us. It was a clown show. I mean, it was outside of the golf, it was literal clown stuff. And not that I know what clowns do on the day-to-day outside of clowning, but it was, my abs hurt. It was one of the funnest trips I've ever taken. Did I say funnest? Yes, I did, because it was. So it was a great time. I'm exhausted. I will say this though, getting back and playing golf like with your buddies is like really cool too, because there's just no like agenda. I mean, there's agenda because you have a game you're playing, but like, I don't know. It's just more, it's a little more relaxing, but I love I'm getting back into the not relaxing because I have a tournament next week. So like, which I'm craving it. And now it's like, I have 7 days to get ready for that.
Well, the cool thing about the advantage you got is when you only play in, let's say, like 3 or 4 real tournaments a year,
right?
And the rest of the time you're just out with the boys playing golf.
Yeah,
like golf isn't your job, but you love golf and you're good at it, so you want to go test yourself with the big boys. But then you get to spend the rest of the year just relaxing, just chilling, and that's
exactly
pretty cool.
Like, stuff like that makes you like, for anyone that thinks that be playing on tour would just be amazing, which it would be amazing for a job, but like, there's a lot of work, kind of like football that people don't understand. There's a lot of work.
Woodraux Wisdom.
Yeah, let's do that.
Let's do it. Something that you said earlier that I wanted to just circle back to when you said that.
Wait, did you say circle back?
Circle back.
Sorry, circle back to the camelback.
Yeah. Oh, you want to talk about it? Well, later, I'm gonna probably in the future of a Woodraux Wisdom, I'll circle back to that. But go ahead.
You talked about how you started off just kind of out there, and then you realized when you started the tournament, you did a reevaluate, like, what am I doing? That's exactly how I think you put it. Yeah. And you mentioned you needed to realize you had the confidence that you belong. So tell me what was going on, and tell me that whole process of, did you doubt yourself, or did you not have the confidence? And then how did you work through that to gain the confidence to start balling?
I wouldn't say I didn't have the confidence, because I was still able to play really good golf. It was just like, because of the course, it was almost like I was putting my game in a box and be like, all right, I got to hit these type of shots. I got to hit. And then it's like, it was almost like, what the heck am I doing? It's like, I'm here because I am an athlete and I have athletic ability, not because I'm really good in this technician or like technically so good. It's like, no, I'm an athlete. I can hit it far. I have good hand eye. And I think it was just kind of like, hey, what? I'm just going to hit it far and find it. Like that's all I'm going to do. Now, I mean, I'm also going to try to keep it in spots that, like, because you can play extremely aggressive in golf anywhere and not put yourself in bad spots. And I think I was just, I don't want to say guiding it around the course. And it was like, I'm not playing to any of my strengths, even though I'm still pretty good at guiding it and like hitting shots in there that, aren't aggressive. Like, I'm still pretty good at that. But what I'm best at is hitting the ball far and I have a good short game. So
you know what I love is when you and I play together and you want to hit a conservative drive.
Yeah.
You have a term for it. We're not going to put it out there.
We will not.
We will not put it out there.
It's
but I'm just sitting here like laughing about it, because as you're talking about guiding it, I just hear you say like,
and you're like, that's not what he says.
Slaw, is this the one you want? Yep. I'm like,
and I can hit it good, right? But
yeah,
like,
it still goes stupid far.
But it's
just
like,
doesn't go 340 yards. It goes like 310 yards.
And it's just like, but I was starting to do that almost with even my irons, and it's like, you can't do that. Like, I can't guide them into. Now I'm thinking about what I say too.
Scott, remind us. We will tell you after recording is over.
But I just not as strong of one. But I shouldn't have done that on all shots. It's like, because it was a difficult golf course too. But it's like, let's play to my advantages. Let's play to what I do really freaking good. And if I do that, I'm relatively decent at golf. And sometimes I do need to hit that guidey one. So no, I wouldn't say it was a confidence issue. It was more like like
a reset. Like,
yeah, and it's almost like too, like, hey, you don't have to come out here and try to hit like, I need to hit correct shots, but like, you don't, like, go be you more than anything.
Because those particular shots aren't the shots that got you there in the first place.
Exactly.
So why are you going to change now?
Exactly. Now, the guidey ones off the tee sometimes, yes, that did get me there. But like, be more aggressive with my second shots and be more like, just, which sometimes it was be more aggressive with my off the tee, because I could get up even closer in a better spot. But I didn't do that. And I was still playing fine. It wasn't like I was playing bad. It was 4 holes. But when I do that, then I can start birdieing, like, instead of just getting pars. Whereas like, if I start doing, I can barrage birdies, and hitting little guideys wasn't going to get me birdies.
You know, Scott, it's sort of like, during my career when I was playing on the line, and there would be a guy that would like take me out of my game and like make me change. I would hate it so much. And at some point in the game, I would have to have a serious talk with myself. Just like, bro, what are you doing? Why are you letting this guy make you change your game? Just go. Because if you're trying to play a game that you don't play, guess what? You're getting the pants spanked off you. You go play yours and make him adjust to you. Then you win. Boom, done.
Yeah. So it's just I don't know. It's a tough, it's more so, that's what it is. And the golf course was like, no, I'm playing my game instead of playing your game, golf course.
Did you feel like you had any extra pressure with all the press you got? Even though, I mean, you've been around it your whole life.
I could care.
That's great.
Yeah. I mean, if I would have went out and shot 40 over, like, so the funny thing is, a lot of like people would send me like texts and stuff, and they said, I know you're not happy with how you did, but I think you impressed a lot of people even with what you shot. And in my head, I'm like, I played terrible. Like, that is not like, I didn't play terrible, but score wise, that's about as bad as I could have shot.
Yeah. I'm not here to be cute, ladies and gentlemen.
Yeah. Like, people think I'm like a teddy bear. And although I can be a teddy bear, I love snuggling, not on the golf course.
Well, the more of these you play in, I mean, the better you're going to get.
Yeah, without a doubt.
I can already hear you. I mean, I can already hear you. Like, I'm going to build upon this. Like, just even talking, like, I know what to do next.
Yeah, and I think that's the biggest thing. And like, the thing is, like, I know, and I'm not saying that I'm the greatest of all time, right? Like, we all know that. But like, I'm 4 years into this. And like, I feel like each year I'm gaining knowledge of just even my swing. like I'm understanding things a little bit more, and I'm like, huh, okay. Like things just like make sense, even though I know the golf swing. Like I had an aha moment this week, even Slaw, and I was like, oh, and then I started hitting with that little aha moment, and I probably was hitting the ball better than I've hit it in I don't know how long.
Well, I mean, just look at your progression since we started playing together back in, what was it, 2016?
Yeah.
And
I didn't even change my swing until I was retired, but still,
and
like,
you were what then, like a 4 or 5 handicap?
Yeah,
and
probably
then
5-ish.
And then you got into the plus range, and then you started playing in things, and your expectations for yourself were high, but I remember having these conversations with you, like the pressure you felt in the because I think the first tournament I watched
Nebraska,
the Nebraska 2-man,
yeah,
or whatever it was.
Yes.
And you didn't play how you wanted to play.
Mm-hmm.
But then the Nebraska 2-man thing, the qualifier.
Yeah, the 4-ball. It's a 2-man though, is what it is.
Yeah,
but they call it the 4-ball. Doesn't make sense.
Yeah, and your team fucking swept everybody, and then you play in the Big Money Classic, and I'm with you. And you were talking about just like the nerves of the first shot off the tee, and then you got the Chambers Bay 4-ball deal, and things didn't go how you wanted to then. But I kept reiterating over and over, the more of this you do, the more you're just going to settle in,
for sure.
And shit, I mean, you may go all the way to the Open next year, or one of these big old live deals. Who knows? We'll see.
Yeah, it's just weird too. Like, in the pressure that I feel now is so much different. Like I still kind of feel it, but like I will say this: there were a lot of people on the first tee at that qualifier, and people watching, and then obviously people wanted to watch because they're like, "Where's this guy gonna hit it?" And it's kind of crazy. Like I still felt a little nervous, but I hit a freaking burner cut, like 310 down the fairway. Like that, it's just a different, like before I would have maybe not even hit the ball.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
Whereas now I'm just kind of I'm just in a different spot, right? Like, and now that stuff, I mean, it's the more I do it, the more it just feels comfortable. Yeah. And I really freaking enjoy it. It's so exhilarating. I don't even know how to explain it.
It's also really super interesting to me, and it was like an aha moment. And it's just the difference between you dudes and the rest of us that, didn't play professional sports or didn't have the right coach or the right teacher is the 4 quarterbacks that played in that match off on TNT. They interviewed them all at the end. And Aaron had said something that I just never would have thought of in my life. He said each off season, there's only one thing you work on in getting better. And I think like me or any person that hasn't been in that environment, and what gets us in trouble is I got to lose weight. I have to do this. I have to do that. I have to do this. Like you put all these,
like all kinds of stuff.
All the kinds of shit. And then none of it gets done. Right. It's just the one thing, like focus on the one thing, and then all the little micro things that get you there. But when he said that, I don't know why, I just never thought of it, but I was like, yeah, like just focus on one big thing. And what are the little steps to get there? It's just, I don't know.
You focus on one thing, just because of it, it affects a lot of other things, and those other things will get better too. And so like,
that's just the different mindset of like, I think not the average, but I'm like an average dude. Like I'm just a dude that
not
wasn't
a professional
trained that.
athlete.
Correct.
There
you go. Yeah.
No, I get that. That makes sense for sure.
Trying to get the kids in.
Yeah. Can you call Gabe? Wait. Is that him? Gabe, open the door. You don't have to knock. When we say your name, you come in here. Don't knock. Gracious to
It
peace.
is,
Gather around, children.
Respectful though. Scott, you've been doing a good job with him.
Yeah, I tell you what.
He is respectful.
Gather around, children. Just come sit on the rug.
Get on the rug. So kids sports, right?
Oh,
youth sports. It's real kick in the dick. My parents fucking suck, but I will say, like, now that I'm a dad and going through all these youth sports, it's like, man, this is an absolute grind. And it's not because you gotta take your kids to camps and practices and games and travel all around creation for this. It's because other parents just suck. Oh my Lord. So somehow I get roped into coaching everything. Everybody's like, oh, you played in the NFL. So yeah, you'd be a great youth baseball coach. Oh, okay. Yeah, makes sense. But I go do my best because it's like, okay, I'm here anyway. I'd be at every practice anyway with the kids. And I'd want to coach my kids anyway. Like, even if I'm not directly coaching, I would like to be up against the fence and like, hey, do this, do that, do that. So if I'm already doing that, well, what's the difference of me being on the other side of the fence and doing the exact same thing? So let's go. So I don't know any baseball rules, none. And both my boys are playing up to the 12 and unders now. And now it's full on baseball rules. There's no more like little kid adjustments in this. It's full on baseball. And there's a lot of baseball rules I've discovered that I have no clue about. So there's a game, I don't know, last week or week before, I'm not sure. But we're playing, it's a super tight match. We're up to bat. I'm the first base coach, and we have 2 outs, and my boy is up to bat. And he ends up striking out. Catcher drops the ball. And so I'm yelling at him to run, but we also have a runner on third. So the catcher's caught in a bind. Because he doesn't fully understand the rules, just like I don't. So the catcher's like, do I throw it to first and get the out, or do I hold the guy at third? So he hesitates, where the rule I now know is you just zip it over to first and the inning's over. But because the catcher hesitated and wasn't really sure, then he ended up like lobbing it over to first, and my boy barely gets out. But in the time of it, our runner from third ran home long before the ball got over to first. And the ump is like this 15-year-old kid, 15, 16-year-old high school kid that also has no idea what he's doing. And the I don't know what they call it, the field umpire, the guy that's like out in the field, he said the same thing. He's like, yeah, the runner from third got home before the out at first. So the guy's out at first, but the score counts and the inning's over. And this dad on the other team absolutely lost his mind. It's like he must have been a Hall of Fame player. That's the way he was acting. Like, he played in the MLB for like 25 years and is now first ballot Hall of Famer. Because he took that opportunity to correct this 15-year-old high school kid very passive aggressively. And I'm just sitting there listening to it because I have no idea what the rule is. Our coach, our head coach, doesn't know. He's just like, I don't know. And even the other coaches on the other team were like, okay, sure, tight. We'll just move on. But this dad would not let it go. And so as I'm standing there listening to it, the other coach from the other team is now walking over to take his position as the first base coach. And he walks by me and he's like, man, this dad is such a jackass. He's always doing this shit. And I'm like, don't worry, coach, I got this. Because he was pissed. There was like 3 minutes left in the game. Because at this age, they still do like you play 5 innings or a 90-minute.
Okay. When you said minutes, I was like,
yeah,
makes sense.
So whatever hits first, 5 innings or 90 minutes. So we still have like 3 minutes left. And now, because he's fighting with the ump about that, like that run would have tied up the game. And he's like yelling at the ump as he's packing up his chair. He has one of those folding chairs in a little bag, and he's like stuffing it in the bag. He's like, nope, that isn't the rule. That isn't the rule. The run at first is a force, so it negates the run coming from third. So nope. It's the rules. It's the rules. I'm just like.
And how old are these kids?
The players are 12.
There's that.
12 and under.
That's
right. The umpire is like 15, and the other umpire is also like 15. So they're just high school kids getting paid like $20 to come do this.
I did it. It was great.
Yeah, sweet. And so I walk onto home plate, and I kind of tap the ump on the shoulder. They're like, hey, calm down. It'll be okay. I got you. And I said, hey, man, over there, you got to chill out, all right? Because this is a kid's game, and these guys will work it out. And he comes back hard. He's like, these are the rules. These are rules. Look it up. Look up the MLB rules. These are the rules. The guy is out. The guy's out, and the game is over, and we're out. And I could just feel my wife staring at me, like, really,
Cammy's just
really mad.
Through.
Like, really, you're choosing to go do this? I'm like, well, nobody else is going to handle it. And if I don't do something, then this dad thinks that this is okay to do.
Right.
So now I walk over to the fence. I say, hey, I don't know my exact wording because it was a while ago, but I said something to the effect of, listen, buddy, nobody here cares how much you fucking know about baseball. You ain't impressing anybody. You ain't a coach, and you ain't an ump. So sit down on that bench and be quiet.
Oh, you told him to sit down?
Yes. And he turned around and sat right down on that bench. And didn't say a word the rest of the time. And because at this point, we still have 2 minutes on the clock, our head coach is like, kids, hurry up, get in the field. And they're like, no, the game is over. We got 2 minutes left. And now our run got wiped. So now we lose. So like, there's no point in us playing anymore. He's like, no, get on the field. So our kids are like, okay. And they go run out on the field, and it activated a new rule of
a new inning.
Because we started the new inning, that inning had to be played.
That's amazing.
Which means then we had
Did
to
you
play
guys end up winning?
Our bet. No, we ended up.
That would have been
smoked.
funny.
No, that is the rule though. Once you start another inning, it's fine. It goes as long as it is.
Yeah. So then they ended up going through their whole batting, and then we had a chance to bat too. We went another hour and a half of that game. It was a 3-hour game. That dad was so mad because he was just ready to leave, and like, yeah, we got the win. My 12-year-old dominated.
Aren't you glad that you did it though?
Oh, it was freaking hilarious.
I just love that you told him to sit down, and he did.
And he did.
It's like a.
I mean, wouldn't you?
Poodles are really,
it's
sure.
not like
poodles
five-
are really smart dogs, and it's almost like their own. Like if their owner says go sit down, they go sit down. It was like he was your poodle.
Mm-hmm. I owned him, and so I go walking back to the dugout, and the other team's coach, that's on first base now, walks over to me, goes, "Thank you so much."
He's just like, we needed that. Gosh, kids sports, come on. He acts like he had like $100,000 on the game.
Yeah, and because in that particular game, our boys play for one of the Hickman youth baseball 12 and unders, and we happened to be playing the other Hickman 12 and under team. So like all these kids know each other, and all these kids are rooting for each other. and all these coaches know each other. So like the kids were, even though the game was tight and super competitive, the kids were having so much fun. They didn't care how the game turned out in the end. They like both
young
teams
anyways,
were
who
cheering
cares?
for the other team. So when the other team would get a big old hit, like guys on our
A good
team
hit.
are like cheering for them, like, yeah, awesome hit, awesome hit. And when there'd be like a good throw out at first, you know, then their team would be going, hey, that was a great throw, great throw. It was so much fun to watch that camaraderie going on. And then this fucking dad wanted to fuck it all up.
It's just crazy because the more and more I see like parents that get mad, go crazy, like it's funny because like I coach my kids, right? And I want my kids to, like, if they want to win, I want them to win. Sure. Right. Like I'm saying my kids, the team I coach and my own kids, but I'm saying like if the team wants to win, cool, like whatever. But it's sad how much these parents care. People have came up to me too and they're like, hey, is it hard for you, you know, to coach because you get so competitive? I go, no, I don't freaking care if they win. Like I want them to win because they want to win, but like when I go home and sit down at my house and we order pizza, I forgot about the game already.
Yeah.
Like I just don't
And guess
care.
what? The kids forgot about the game already.
Yes,
Who are
exactly.
playing in it.
But it's crazy because they're like, is it hard for you? And it's like, no, not at all. Like competition is my number one strength. If I take strengths finders, it is not hard for me when I can definitely make that my weakness when it comes to coaching my kids, because I want them to have fun. I want them to learn the game. I want them to learn how to win and lose, because the thing is, man, like they're freaking kids. And someday they're going to get to high school if they continue to play, and it's going to be a little bit more serious. I want them to enjoy the sport. Too many kids nowadays play the sports and have had a bad experience when they're 12, 13, 14 years old and then never go out for a high school sport. Like because of their parents most of the time, because of coaches sometimes, but because of their parents just want them to win and think they're getting a scholarship when they're 12. What about kids nowadays that are playing millions and millions? I'm not going to name the sport, but like there's kids that are doing sports almost year round in Nebraska.
Yeah.
Fifth, sixth, fourth, fifth, sixth grade.
Yeah.
Travesty.
Like somewhat like 9, I don't know how many months, probably not 12, because I'm sure there's a little summer off. Let's say 10, I don't know, 10 months, let's say. Guess what? For all you parents that have your kids in a sport that long, Slauson played in the NFL. I played in the NFL. We didn't play for 10 months. We played for 7 months, and then we would have maybe a month. Not even 7 months, a month.
It would be 10 months of total sports, but we're playing all the friggin' sports.
No, I'm talking about in the NFL. When we played in the NFL,
you're right. Yes,
didn't play our sport that long. And we were professionals, which means like kind of the best in the world at that. Not because we're so great, but I'm just saying we were considered, there's not another league higher.
Yeah.
And we didn't do it that long. Like, what are you doing to your kids? You're ruining them.
I talked to some of these dads that have their kids in like travel club baseball, and they're watching these pitchers throw like 200 pitches a week. I'm like,
great way to get your kid surgery. This is amazing.
Guess what? Your kid ain't playing in the MLB. It ain't happening.
Yeah.
And they're doing baseball all year round. It's like, yep.
And
so
you're wasting
pretty much
money.
right after high
you're
school,
wasting their kid. You're wasting their life as a kid. Like the funny thing is people are like, well, they really love it and they want to do it. Well, guess what? You're the dad. And you have the opportunity to be the dad. And that's by protecting them from what they don't even know they're doing to themselves. If I would have wanted to, if I would have wanted to play basketball year round, my dad would not have let me. because he protected me. He protected me, and I loved sports so much. And that's probably why I loved them even going into college. I had a lot of people that'd be like, I don't really love it. And it's like, why are you doing it then?
Well, because he also knew as a coach, because your dad was a good coach and a good teacher, he knew, like, he wasn't trying to create a professional athlete. He was trying to create a good person.
Yeah.
So you're going, no, he's not going to be a single sport athlete his whole childhood. It's not fair to him. He's going to play all the sports, and he's going to be, you know, good at them or not, but just the experience of playing all the sports is going to make him better.
Why does it take, and I'm not saying, but like a lot of parents, they want their kids to be professional athletes. And then a lot of professional athletes want their kids to be kids. Isn't that weird?
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
And my guess is the ones that are professional athletes, not all the time, there's some of them, some whiz or specialized kids, but it's like a lot of those kids that get to professional sports were allowed to be kids when they were kids. A lot of the kids that don't get scholarships and then go play NAIA were the kids that specialized.
Mm-hmm.
And not the NAIA is bad, but I'm saying, like, the reason I said NAIA is because they don't have scholarships. So it's like a lot of the kids that paid a ton to play throughout till high school are the ones that are paying a lot of money to play in college
and have zero shot at pro.
Zero.
So I'm going to throw another wrinkle in the whole system, which I just got educated on this the other day, the whole NEAL. So the whole NEAL money coming into college has already changed.
Oh, the NIL. Yeah.
Sorry. They've already changed. So the kids thinking in high school and below are like, everybody's going to want to be a quarterback because that's where the most money is. And they're already investing in coaches, and these quarterback gurus are just getting paid now.
I didn't even
think about that. That is another force that is not good.
So that then sheds more light on how these parents are doing it.
Correct. I didn't even know that was a thing until I was like, oh no, these parents are already you're going to be a quarterback.
Yeah.
And those kids,
they're making their kids
good athletes.
They're making their kids into an investment account. That's all it is.
It's a super cool conditional love to put on your kids. You know what I mean?
I was so neglected because my parents didn't try to make me be a quarterback to make money. It sucked.
There's so many kids that they do all these sports and whatever, and then they hate them in high school, and then they don't even play in college, and they're like, where the freak was my childhood?
Yeah.
Like my childhood was playing only AAU basketball, or my childhood, like,
my wife was a stud soccer player, and that's all she did from the time she was 5. Just play year-round soccer.
And it was probably not a great experience looking back.
And she had scholarship offers. And you know what happened? She said, screw that.
She said, I want to live my life. I don't want to be told to do all this.
Yeah, she said, I'm tired of being a professional athlete from the time I was 5. And I will say, her parents didn't make her do that. That's just what she wanted to do. She loved soccer.
Sometimes you need a parent to know more than the kid.
Yeah, and they're supposed to. But
that's our job as parents, is like actually protect our children. And sometimes you have to protect your children from what they love most sometimes.
Yeah.
I mean,
because she ended up growing up and hating it.
Yeah.
She said, I don't want to do it anymore. Now, lucky for me, because then I got to meet her. So that worked out great.
Yeah. Her hating it was actually nails for you.
Yeah. Worked out perfect.
But like, I don't know. Yeah. Don't ruin your kid. That was a story time that turned into another thing. And don't ruin your kid. Like, just love them. And sometimes loving them means to tell them no on something.